We are back at bigleaguepolitics.com. We are joined by Kylie Kremer, the executive director of Women for Trump. Kylie, thank you for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
Kylie, first of all, where are you from and how did you first become involved in politics?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I first became involved in politics during the Tea Party movement when I was in college. I worked all across the country with Tea Party Express and was able to meet grassroots activists all over the country and work on different campaigns and elections.
So, what is Women for Trump doing? We see President Trump out on the campaign trail a lot more recently in some states, including Pennsylvania and Florida. What's Women for Trump doing to contribute to that?
So, Women for Trump, we are galvanizing millions of women across the United States that are pro Trump, despite what the mainstream media wants to say. And we are focused on targeting some of these liberal female Democrats because our position is just because you're a female does not mean that you have the best policies for females. We're smarter than that, and we don't vote based on body parts. So, we're really working all across the country to help influence these midterm elections and to help support POTUS and the America First agenda.
And who are some of the candidates in some of the races that you're focusing on in 2018?
Debbie Stabenow, Claire McCaskill, Stacey Abrams. Those are just a few. Here in Georgia, we just had a primary that was a fought battle, and Brian Kemp, came out on top. And the Democrats are going to
Yep.
be pouring a ton of money into this election, and she is as far left as our state needs. So we're really going to be focused on that, and just supporting and uplifting women all across the country that are, out here supporting President Trump.
But you're not going for Mitt Romney in Utah, are you?
No, we are not. We're going to sit that one out.
All right. Sitting out the Mitt Romney race, Jim. Jim, are you voting for Mitt Romney? No, he's not voting for Mitt Romney either. Now we are seeing a lot of very intense stuff from the media lately. This Jim Acosta guy on CNN and Caitlin Collins from CNN did these little stunts in the White House, and President Trump said, you can't come in here anymore. This is our White House. It's a sacred thing, and these are important, serious events. And the TV left media like CNN and MSNBC are just trying to whip people up into a frenzy. Have you experienced that?
Yes, we personally have experienced getting death threats from the rhetoric that the left has, pushed. That I mean, it's disgraceful when they have nothing else to say. They just resort to violence and personal attacks. And we're seeing that not just, on a personal level with people out in everyday America, but we're seeing that in the White House too. And the media is now taking part in it, and it's really sad. I mean, the civil discourse in this nation is just completely off path, and the media wants to blame and it's not President Trump. The media, the mainstream media, has become completely unhinged because they don't know how to control him. They don't know how to control the narrative anymore. And that's the whole point, is that they shouldn't be controlling the narrative. They should be reporting on what is happening. It's
Hmm.
so Jim Acosta, I mean, how disgraceful, and to continue this rhetoric that he's not backing down. And, hopefully the American people will rise up and continue to have CNN's, ratings for him not be very successful.
Well, CNN's big story recently is that everyone hates them, and they're blaming Trump now for the fact that everyone hates them, and that they're yelling at them at the rallies. Jim Acosta can't even go to a Trump rally, and people are yelling at him. I kind of think that's a good thing. It's peaceful. It's protest of a powerful organization, CNN. Which is very wealthy and influential. Do you think that the media really is the enemy of the people?
I think that the media just needs to get focused on what their actual job is and stop worrying about this narrative and pointing fingers of who's doing something wrong. If they were able to focus on doing their job and reporting on what President Trump and this administration is doing, their ratings would be much more successful, and they wouldn't have a need to point the finger
Sure.
and say, we're not doing well because President Trump is spewing all this rhetoric, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it is
Mhm.
just getting completely old, and the American people are tired of it, and we're seeing that in the ratings. I mean, when Investigation Discovery and HGTV are consistently coming, over numbers above CNN, that should tell them that their method is not working, and the American people, want to see and hear something different. They want to hear the truth.
hmm And I wanted to get your thoughts on Hollywood and this sort of moral relativism that the movie industry and music and the record industry, what they do in our society. I mean, do you think this is a good positive influence that these Harvey Weinstein people out in LA are having on our society right now?
Absolutely not. And I think that everyday average Americans realize that they are living in this Hollywood elite bubble, and that they don't speak for the majority of Americans. We're seeing Kanye West come out and say things that, his friends on the left are completely horrified because, it's not going along with their typical kind of left wing rhetoric. And
Mhm.
look at what's happening. People are rising up everywhere supporting him. And then look with Madonna, right? She just moved to Portugal, I believe. And it's like good riddance. Part of the reason that she probably is moving there is because people are not agreeing with her when she talked about wanting to blow up the White House. I mean, if an everyday average American said that, they would be in jail. So it's not,
Mhm.
they have this different standard and think that they set the tone for a lot of things. And it's just not true. And the American people, we have things that we're really worried about: jobs, the economy, having money to get your kids school supplies, getting ready to go back to school, wrapping up summer vacation, stuff like that, not worrying about what a Hollywood elitist is saying, or tweeting about.
Yeah. And now, what do you think about John Brennan and James Comey and some of these people who we did not elect? We never elected them. They were in the Bush administration, they were in the Obama administration. Now it seems like they're clinging to power in some way, but nobody ever elected them. And people who know about our government and our republic and how it's supposed to work seem to think that these people are criminals. I mean, these people are trying to take out President Donald Trump. What do you make of all this? And what do people in America make when they see all this crazy stuff on TV?
Well, I think people across America are very, very frustrated. At every moment, there's something new that's breaking that somebody else in the administration or, in the FBI is coming forward with, Peter Strzok with the text messages and all the hate that's just coming towards conservatives and specifically President Trump. And the American people can see right through it and think that the people in Washington should be doing their job, whether we elected them directly or we, elected people to then appoint them to things. The investigation needs to wrap up. There's no such thing as Russian collusion that's going on with President Trump. I mean, yes, there's an issue with Russians meddling in our election, but that is outside of what President Trump running for president of the United States, running against Hillary Clinton. Look, the left is so unhinged because Hillary Clinton lost and they still cannot get over it. They don't have any people coming forward that are really strong, great candidates for them. And so they have to cling on to anything that they know, is sticking. And unfortunately, topics like Russian collusion and Stormy Daniels are what, they think that the mainstream American wants to hear. And guess what? They don't. They could care less because what they care about is that they can afford to put gas in their cars, that everybody has jobs, and that the economy is growing.
Well, no matter where you live in the country, if you are supporting a Republican candidate, that Republican candidate most likely supports President Donald Trump. I can't speak for Mitt Romney in Utah, but the vast majority of them do. And so Kylie Kramer is going to be out there getting President Trump's message out there as he campaigns in his first midterm. It's going to be a good test for him as a politician. And Kylie, can you tell us where to find more about your organization online?
Yes, you can go to womenfortrump.com. And you can also find us on Twitter and on Facebook. We're Women Vote Trump, and on Twitter, Women for Trump. And keep up with us. We have some exciting things coming. We are doing a post election cruise setting sail November 10th through the 17th out of Fort Lauderdale. And there are going to be a lot of women and men from across the United States that are coming
Yeah.
aboard. Yeah, we're really excited, and we have some great speakers. General Mike Flynn is joining us, and we're really excited about that. Juanita Broderick, Jesse Jane Duff, and there's
Oh,
there's some other great people that we're going to be rolling out and announcing. And look, we're going to be celebrating keeping the House and the Senate and supporting President through this midterm election, but we're also going to be laying the groundwork and planning and strategizing how to move forward for 2020 and what we can do to keep, working on the America First agenda and supporting the President of the United States, because we're all very proud of him and there are more of us than what the mainstream media wants to say.
wow. All right. Well, Kylie Kramer, thank you for joining the show. Keep reading bigleaguepolitics.com.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. Have a great
All right.
weekend.